prep you up.
Prep me up, warm me up.
All right, so we're already into the 3rd episode of the season.
Yeah.
And Liv is helping you with the cases. What can you tell us that's going to happen with your character in upcoming episodes? Like, are you going to ever find out what she actually is and not she's not psychic?
You know what? People ask me if Clive will ever find out if she's a zombie first, you know, and I'm like, well, it's, you know, he doesn't. I think he bought into the idea that she's just emo and goth, and that's a whole fashion thing. But in terms of being a psychic, he believes in psychics. You know, there was this monologue in the pilot where he went on about his great aunt Debbie and how she predicted the sex of 9 of his cousins, you know, accurately. So, and then that's why he believes in psychics. So I think he'll ride with the psychic situation. But in terms of the zombie thing, unless he knows what brain smells like on her breath, and I don't think he knows what brain smells like, and plus she covers it up with hot sauce and sriracha and things, I don't think Clive will ever figure that out.
Well, so your character's last name is Babineau, so that's almost like a Cajun.
Like, yeah, like Creole, yeah.
So are we going to see some backstory about your family, possibly a supernatural link?
You know, that's actually interesting. We go a little bit into my backstory, but not too much. It's more about Clive getting better as a detective, because he started really as a newbie and just really inexperienced. So you get to watch him grow and get better at his job. You find out bits and pieces about his past here and there. In episode 4, you find out more about his come up as a detective, what he was like before making that transition. Hopefully, in season 2, we get to find out, you know, go to New Orleans or something like that and find out about his Creole roots.
I think part of his willingness to utilize her is because he's new, and so he's a bit of an outsider as well, and she obviously feels like an outsider because of her condition.
You know what? Yeah, I mean, that's why I look at it too. It's 2 outsiders working together, you know, and trying to find a purpose, you know, because he's so, you know, he's a confident, self-assured guy, but he hasn't earned any of that on as this new detective. He hasn't earned it. You know, people, they make fun of him. Like in the first episodes, they're teasing him singing the Lady Gaga song. Yeah, and I'm like, yeah, he's like, bring it on. And that's kind of what he deals with every day. So I think he is dependent on her, and as well as she is on him, you know, in terms of them having a similar purpose, and bringing these murder victims, killers to justice.
As your character grows and becomes a better detective, do you think there's going to be a point where he doesn't want to use her psychic ability and wants to see independently if he can actually solve?
You know, there are moments during the show, especially next episode, when he thinks, I got this. But I think what starts to happen is they become friends, you know, because they kind of started this relationship off without knowing anything about each other. All right, you're psychic emo goth. She looks at me. Oh, you're an overly dressed rookie detective who just doesn't know what he's doing. So, but once they become friends, I think it starts to become more of a partnership. You know, once he starts to learn about her situation, and she learns about, her backstory, and she starts to learn about his backstory a little bit. So you watch this, you're watching this friendship that's developing.
You've done some work with procedurals in the past.
Yeah.
Aside from the obvious zombie angle to this show, do you feel like this as an actor follows the same pattern as other procedurals, or do you feel like this is something totally different?
You know, for me, it felt completely different, especially with the character. Most procedurals, at least the ones that I watch, you walk in with the detective who knows what he's doing. He's been on the force for several years, so he got it all figured out. What was interesting about this character was this was somebody who does not have it figured out. And I remember watching, I was on a show called Breakout Kings on A&E, so I watched a lot of First 48, and they always had these rookie detectives. And so a lot of my research was it never goes well for the rookie detective. They don't really know. They make a lot of mistakes. They don't know the right questions. Their heart's in the right place. So I love the fact that Diane and Rob, they were like, you know, he can grow. He doesn't have to figure it out right away. You can play with him being naive at certain things, you know, because that happens in real life. So that made it interesting for me. I think that's what makes it different from your average procedural element outside of it being a criminal of the week.
Right.
Yeah.
So how much of Clive is you, and how much of you are Clive? You know, all actors kind of inject a little bit of themselves, but also try to add a different persona to their character. So, but there's always like a little bit of a
I connected with his willingness to kind of to learn and figure things out, and to kind of admit he doesn't have all the answers, and just growing up as as a man, I don't have all the answers. I'm still learning. I'm still growing every single day. So just kind of bringing that element. I mean, we all are. We're all growing every day, and so just bringing that element into the TV show, into a character in a real way. Because like I said, I think a lot of people are used to those kind of archetypes having it all figured out, and I think it's interesting and more fun. No, he doesn't. You get to grow with him and say, wow, I remember Clive didn't know what the hell he was doing by the time you get to episode 10, 11, 12. So I kind of bring that I bring that kind of nuance to it. That's what we have in common.
Really quick. This is probably, I think, the first show you have that's got like kind of a fan base, like that reach to events like this.
Yeah.
Is this your first convention?
Yeah, actually, Comic-Con was the first one. Yeah. It's a dream come true. I mean, it's incredible, just the whole fandom around it, the love, the energy about it, and just the comic book culture, which is also linked to the video game culture, and being I used to be a hardcore gamer, and I grew up reading comic books too, so it's been a dream come true. I never ever thought I would be in this realm. I never even envisioned it, but I cannot tell you how grateful I am that I'm having this experience. Thank you.